Hey everyone, so it's been a hot minute since I've appeared actually on camera. This is what I look like. And today we're going to be talking about Warhammer, specifically the 40k variety. I was into 40k, get my credentials out of the way first. Back in 2nd edition, I played Eldar to begin with, and actually this isn't my old codex, this is someone else's codex, but yeah, 2nd edition codex. Yeah, I just absolutely love these models. If I can find, Azerman was my boy, so that was one of the metal models that I used to own, and absolutely lavished some attention on his paint job. But from Eldar, I then picked up a few Tyranids, I think, and then after that, in the back of the 2nd edition Tyranid book, there was a Genestealer Cult army list, and I went into Genestealer Cults. I had some Valhallans, which I painted pink. I had a Liman Russ, which I painted in like a pink and bone camouflage. That was all really weird. Played through 2nd edition, 3rd edition, kind of my life got taken over by magic. Didn't play for a while. Started at the sort of middle of 5th edition, I think. Started building an Ultramarines army. Played from 5th through to 7th. And started so many armies, it's unbelievable. What have I got? I've got some examples. Some Grey Knights, a Deathwing Terminator. I even ventured into Necrons, Tyranids, and I really like this one, to be honest. So yeah, kind of went for a Sin City kind of monochrome look with a load of blood splatter all over it. So that was Tyranids. I then went big into Tau and went for this really interesting scheme, and there's one of the guns, so it's kind of like cream but with neon blue and orange on it. So that looked pretty cool as that, and the gun drones looked like little chocolate discs. Yeah, had a little Tau army as well, bit of a flutter with that. And then stopped. I got back into Magic, as we all know, with Kaladesh, and that's where the channel started. Also, aside from 40k, I've had a long-standing liking of the Horus Heresy, both the Black Library novels and the old Forgeworld books. So I've got an Ultramarines 30k army and a Mechanicum 30k army, which is pretty cool. And then, yeah, Magic took over, so hence the Magic channel, which is, there's probably going to be some Magic returning to the channel, but I'm not feeling it. It is, in recent sets, has strayed so far away from what I thought the Magic was about that I don't know what it is. Like companions, they just seem to be throwing so much stuff out, and like we're still in Double Master spoiler season, and we're now getting Zendikar spoilers. Jumpstart's only just come out, but M21 was out like 2 days before that. It's just, man, I just can't be bothered, man. Can't be bothered. Just literally give me a codex and some models, and yeah, that's it. Or some old dead CCGs, Lord of the Rings or Star Wars, that I know that that's the finite amount of cards that there's going to be, and happy as Larry. So I have been designing some MTG cubes though. There might be some cube content coming to the channel really, but yeah, I'm not a fan of Magic at the moment. What am I leading up to? Eldar. I've started a 9th edition army, so I've gone back to 40k and started an Eldar army. Yes, I've just picked up the codex. This is the 8th edition codex. So I've been drawing up lists with 8th edition at the moment. I understand that there's point changes between this and 9th edition, so I'm still to work that out. And I've started picking up some models. So I've got myself a Jane'Zar, which is one of the brand new sculpts-ish. And I've picked myself up a box of Howling Banshees. So I don't want to pick up old units that are not going to be in keeping with sort of the updated aesthetic. Those are brand new kits that I've picked up. And I've also got on order some Dire Avengers, which were redone sort of with the 7th edition codex, I think it was. So about 2015-16-ish kind of time. And I've got a Wave Serpent on the go, so that's a troop choice and dedicated transport. I have ordered the Finecast version of Azermen because nostalgia. So fingers crossed that the Finecast is good and that I don't end up with a big pile of shit, basically. And then the thinking was, what kind of Craftworld am I going to go for? So I started having a look through some of the sort of materials that I had. Obviously, I've got that codex, the old codex, I've got this codex, and then there's a whole world of Imperial armour and other stuff to look through. I really like a lot of the old fluff I don't know if anyone's seen this, but this is the Eldar sketchbook. It was from the 25th anniversary of Warhammer, and it was a really special thing to get hold of. And it is just filled with beautiful sketches by Jez Goodwin, mostly, of all of these sort of Eldar designs, how he went about sort of designing the craft world and building up the mythos of the Eldar. So I've had a flick through that. That was mostly inspiration. Then I turned to good old Forgeworld. And Forgeworld, years and years ago, released a book called The Doom of Mymeara. It was one of their Imperial Armour books, and I can't find it. I could have sworn that I had it. I found my Orpheus one and the Tau one, but I can't find the Eldar one anywhere. But what I did find was the Modelling Masterclass Volume 2, and in it, it has got... I should have had this prepared. The paint scheme of the Mymeara Craftworld. So it's kind of like a greeny blue fade. That is an absolutely stunning model. White sort of guns and accents. They've painted their gems red. And it's quite a nice sort of turquoisey, yeah, kind of like a fadey turquoisey bluey green colour. So, oh, and then on the other page, there's a Phantom Titan, which just kicks ass. That is badass. That's goals. One day. One day. So, I'm going to do a Craftworld Mymeara force. There's going to be Aspect Warriors. So far, the only Aspect Warriors that they have redone is the Howling Banshees, which I understand are not that strong at the moment, slightly overcosted. And the Dire Avengers. I reckon Dire Avengers look quite strong from the rules. With Asman, they get an Invuln safe, from what I understand. I haven't played since 7th edition, so you're going to have to excuse a lot of my naivety on the rules. So I've got a lot of catching up to do, a lot of learning to do. So there is that. So what I've started to do is to write down a little bit of an army list, like I say, still using 8th edition, but my 1k army list so far is going to have Asman, set of 5 Dire Avengers in a Wave Serpent, another set of Dire Avengers in a Wave Serpent, so that is quite a nice little block and fairly mobile for going around objective hunting. Going to have 5 Rangers. Yeah, they're an older model, but they look really, really nice. They give me proper sort of Star Wars Endor vibes with the capes and everything. And they tie in quite nicely with an old project that I was doing. Those of you that know Eldar background will know about the Exodites. So I started building Cold One Rider Eldar, and I was looking for a spear arm from bit sites, but never quite got round to it. So this is as far as I ever got with my Exodite army. I want to carry on with that, so Rangers would fit in quite nicely, I believe, with sort of the Exodite look. With the sort of Mymeara craft world being quite isolated from the other craft worlds, they might come across Exodite worlds and things like that, so it would tie in quite nicely. So anyway, that's me justifying why I'm putting Rangers into the army. We're then going with 5 Wraithguard. Haven't decided what to arm them with. Probably D weapons, whatever they are, rather than Wraith cannons. Not going to go with Wraith blades just yet because I've got 5 Howling Banshees and Jane's R, so they're going to be doing the close combat shit. And Wraithguard are going to be doing the stand back, posing with their guns and firing. And then for good measure, we're going to chuck in a Falcon as well. So that it comes to, in 8th edition, 954 points. Whether or not that will fit into 1,000 points in 9th edition, there or thereabouts. That's the plan. And that's a whole long load of waffle about my 40k credentials, why I no longer care about Magic for the time being, and yeah, my plans for the channel. So lockdown has done wonders for reigniting old hobbies. So Star Wars CCG was something that I did as a kid. Lord of the Rings TCG was something that I did as a kid. Warhammer was something I did as a kid and as an adult. And yeah, I'm going to get back into it. On an aside, I've also started Necromunda. So yeah, I've painted an Ambot over lockdown, and I've built up my Escher gang, which I still need to actually paint. Really loved Necromunda the first time it was around. Me and my mates played the hell out of it. So anyway, yeah, Escher now, repping them with some Ambots, and I've just started to work on Gore Halfhorn as well, one of the hired guns from Forgeworld. So that is that. There's going to be some vlogs about my hobby progress. I'm going to do some unboxing videos. I know they've been out for a while and everyone's probably seen them, but just for my own sake, I want to put out some unboxing videos each time I buy something new for the army. There might be some painting tutorials as well. Obviously that scheme, that blue, turquoise, green sort of fade is quite difficult to do. I don't have an airbrush. I'm all hand brush. So I'm going to do some experimenting. The first thing that I'm going to try and use is the new contrast paint, which is some kind of turquoise, Pterodon turquoise, and see how that works. Do kind of like a grey prime, shade with some Nuln Oil or something in the recesses, and then do a dry brush of white on the highlights, and then whack a load of contrast paint over the top of it and see how that works out. The other option that I've got is washes, same kind of zenithal undercoat, and then a load of shades underneath it. No idea which one of these greens would be the best. The other option would be shake 'em up paints. So Sotek green and Temple Guard blue look kind of like colours that I want, and then just whack one of those washes over the top of them, and that might work out. It might not have that fade, but it would have that look all over it. And yes, I transfer my GW paints into dropper bottles. Might do a tutorial about that. It just makes them so much more easier to use. I know I could just buy Vallejo range and they automatically come in droppers, but there's just something about the names and the system that GW's got that I've just always stuck with. We'll be back soon with more old school CCG stuff. I've got a load of magazines, Inquest, Scry, that kind of stuff. Gonna have some more Lord of the Rings content because I keep on buying that on eBay. So yeah, more of that content, and then there's going to be a whole load more Eldar goodness, so stay tuned for that. If you're here for the magic content, there should be some cube content at some point, but it's not going to be like it used to until WotC decide that they are done with their craziness that they're on at the moment. Oh, also, repping my MyCarbon coach, so this is something else that I've been doing for the past sort of half a year. Environmentalism. So I've got a second YouTube channel where I document my journey with my allotment. So in January, I got hold of an allotment and started growing my own veg. Basically environmentalism, leading the good life, trying to save the world through averting the climate crisis. So if you're interested in that, links will be down below to MyCarbon coach if you're in any way inclined to check out that kind of stuff. If you just want to stick around for space elves riding dinosaurs, and fair play. So catch you all soon. Cheers.